My peers. It was just a pretty cool moment, and I thank those guys, each day, and I appreciate what they do, and I'm just, excited for the season and be that leader for the team.
Obviously, you've got to do something to get that. So, what do you feel like you did to earn their respect and earn their trust to be voted on?
Yeah, I just feel like I, be me every day. I feel like relationships are everything, and I feel like I have a strong relationship with everybody. So I just feel like just being me, just being someone they can talk to, lean on, and ask for help or just any guidance. I'm always there for them, and they're there for me.
Did you think we saw the video of you FaceTiming home? What would that mean to call your mom and tell her that? And then I know you and your brother obviously.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, like my mom didn't know she's being recorded, so she's a natural. And it was pretty cool just to tell my mom I was elected captain. Just after all these years, I haven't been captain since high school, so she was just happy. Obviously, my brother, being my coach since in high school, and just him being proud for me, and him congratulating me, and it was a pretty cool moment.
Did you think this would happen, or was it a surprise to you when they announced the vote?
I would say both. I mean, obviously, I was thinking, I'm a senior, I have a chance to be a captain, but you never know, what your peers, you vote for. So, when Coach B told me and told it for the team, I was like, thank God, and let's go.
Gabe, you don't hit the quarterback during practice, right? You never hit him. Is that
No, right. No.
So
off limit.
Right, off limits.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it by accident?
I can't say. I can't.
Never, you never knocked out.
I mean, on accident, yeah, it could be, it can get, pretty violent.
Sure.
So I just try my best to stay away at all time.
So what's it like when you get in the game here coming a week and a half or so, when you get to hit the quarterback for the first time? What's it feel like for you personally?
It'll feel great, obviously for my teammates, we've been practicing, day in, day out, I just can't wait for those guys, the guys I'm gonna play with on the field, James Thompson, Ali Bryant,
Sure.
Tommy Walt, those guys, I'm more excited for them just to get that feeling to hit the quarterback than me, because, they've been practicing just as hard as me, so it's gonna be a good feeling when we get to that quarterback, we can actually hit him.
Is there a downside to not doing that in practice? You miss something by not being able to hit the quarterback?
Not a downside. I think that's a good thing, self-control, just building great practice habits, so, I don't mind, we need our quarterback, so, I mean, you would never want to put our quarterback in jeopardy.
Right, get that. Yeah. So he probably wouldn't care, right? I mean,
no, he would definitely care.
He would care?
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely care.
He would definitely care.
And you've never been tempted maybe this time?
No, I've never been tempted. We need that guy. Everyone's important on the team, so just trying to keep everybody safe. Just keeping all the guys that we came to practice with and coming out of practice.
Who's reminding you of that most? Is it Coach B, or is it somebody else to kind of say, hey, make sure this is your teammate during practice?
Coach B, all the coaches, and even the players, we all have an understanding of just protecting our teammates. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Has fall camp gone by quickly to you? I mean, next time we talk to you, we'll be in game week.
Yeah.
It won't be camp anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it feels quick because we're here now. But when you're in the middle of it, it feels like every day is a grind. So I took every day as an opportunity just to get better. Work on my skills and just being there for my teammates. Just being the same me every day. So just being right here, in my fourth fall camp, a surreal moment. But I put the work in day out, and I just can't wait for this team just to put that on display.
Gabe, what stood out to you in fall camp about the group of edge rushers on this team?
Yeah, I feel like there's no drop off. Obviously, you got Leon Lowry, you got Daniel Brown, you got Joe Barna, you got Ishmael Conte, all those guys, are ready for the opportunity. And, for me, it's a cool thing to see because, we're all ready for the opportunity. And we've all been working hard. We all keep the same standard, in the room, always finishing the ball, practice habits, never giving a sucker a break. Just we all have that mindset. And to see that in practice, it's just going to be a cool thing to see in the game.
That kind of depth of talent, how's that help you? Coach Henry talked about you this year maybe facing double teams, triple teams. What's that do when you have a guy on the other side that has one-on-one if you're facing a double team?
I'll say, it doesn't matter. We've been practicing, for those moments, and we got, a whole D line that's elite. So, I mean, good luck. I should say, but just to see on game day. So.
Played a lot of snaps with Alec Bryant. What if anything is different about him in his final year and what the opportunity he's got in front of him?
Yeah, just his mentality. I've seen it, way in the winter, just how he took care of his body, how he watched film, how he practiced, just coming in the building early and making sure, he's doing everything he can just to be at this optimal shape, optimal football player. So I definitely see a change in his game, and, I can see the hunger in him, and I just can't wait for that guy to flourish, and I'm rooting for him. I'm his biggest fan, and I want nothing but the best for that guy, and I'm excited.
Arno talked about you taking him under your wing a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think of Joe and what he can bring to this outside linebacker room?
Joe, yeah. I mean, talk about someone that just country strong. Dude's benching out the gym, squatting out the gym. Like, me and him compliment each other because we know how we operate and we just feed off each other. So, Joe, like, I can't wait for him. He's a really good player, and just me and the older guy in the room, and it's a privilege to like be able to coach that guy and kind of mentor him, and and I learned from him too. Like, whenever he do a certain move or he does something on the field, I always learn from him, and even in the film room, I just take advantage of that because you can never take those things for granted because you never know like what situation can happen.
With camp winding down, are you kind of savoring this whole moment, kind of, looking around and everything, knowing this is probably the last one?
Yeah, for sure. But more importantly, I'm just focused on the first game at hand, Western Illinois, just going 1-0 every week. I'm not thinking too far ahead, just focusing on the now and the present.
You mentioned Ishmael, like he moved over to your group
Yeah.
in camp. What does he bring to that position?
Yeah, Ishmael, came from inside linebacker. His story was incredible. Just him coming from JUCO to a Power 5 college. Him being grateful, just being in this position. But him just, he's a ball player. Elite speed, elite get off. Obviously like still developing in the position. But I'm ready for him to show his ability on the field. Just him moving to the position. A week week left in fall camp is just like. Just seeing what he's been doing in practice, like, it's crazy because he's doing the things that, people normally don't do.
Is the talent level different here at Illinois than when you arrived, as far as the guys that you're around? Has that rose?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, like, years go by, people get better. But, the standard is the standard. And I feel like this Coach B and, everyone preaching the tough, smart, dependable, that will never change. And, each year it's always gonna be tough, smart, dependable guys, because that's just what we preach here, and that's what we believe in.
One more guy I wanted to ask you about, Daniel Brown.
Yeah.
Seems like we've heard a little bit about him through fall camp, different than some of you guys have. What's he compliment you guys with his game?
Yeah, another edge rusher, that got speed, and power. I'm just happy for that guy, dealing with what he dealt with last year, not be able to just, play because of injury, and the way he just battled back from that, and just dealing with adversity. I'm excited for that guy. It's crazy because we're always up here watching film together, and he's a dude that loves the game. He loves the game. He's a smart football player, and I'm excited for him.
What leadership did you see from Dylan and Miles last year when they were captains, and did you try to? I know everybody's kind of got their own style of leadership. So how much did you try to say, I'm going to do what these captains did versus I'm going to do my own lead in my own way?
Yeah, I think, Rosie, man, a few words, but, leader by example, does everything the right way. That's someone that I looked up to when he was in that role last year. And, nothing ever changed. He's the same guy. And, and he's even been more vocal now, even in this year. So just, looking back and then just doing what those guys did and just, implementing it in myself.
Thanks, Gabe.
Yeah.